Welcome to the Legendary Sports Podcast. This is your host, GSR, and today we're going to talk about checking boxes. So, as you know, the fast and furious start to free agency for the Cowboys, much different than past seasons where they just sat on their hands and did nothing. This time they got a little active. Now, I think the caveat in there is they were active, but they signed the same type of player. They didn't do anything out the ordinary. They signed the day three guys. They just did it on day one. They didn't wait till everybody else was dried up and us fans were at an uproar and beating down the door, say, "Hey, do something, Jared. Do something, Steven." They didn't do that, which to me is a better approach. They were selectively aggressive, as Stephen Jones said, and they identified their targets and they picked them up. Whether you like the players or not, that's your prerogative. I'm not trying to convince you these are world beaters, but they did identify their targets and go after them. They didn't ignore needs like last year and wait till after the draft to find a running back or just ignore the fact that your team got gutted in free agency and we're just going to wait on hopefully some undrafted free agents and some 5th and 6th round picks will develop into enough depth that we don't have to sign anybody. That's how you ended up with Jordan Phillips and Linval Joseph to help you not stop the run. Not only were they negative in run defense, that made it worse. They didn't help at all. And Jordan Phillips didn't even make it through the year. And Linval Joseph's not out of the league. So, whether you might like the approach or not, they have been active. They were selectively aggressive, and they got bodies in here. Bodies for depth. I think out of the list of free agents that they signed, or maybe one, possibly two or three might start, depending on how the draft falls or how they beat out competition. But we'll go into that. So let's go through a rundown of who they actually signed in free agency. So, let's go through this list. Dante Fowler from the Commanders, Paris Campbell from the Eagles. They traded for Kaiir Elam from the Bills. Kenneth Murray traded for him. Titans. D-tackle Solomon Thomas, Jets. Running back, they signed Javonte Williams, Robert Jones. D. Peyton Turner. Linebacker Jack Sandbarn. Running back Miles Sanders. D-tackle Osa Igozila, we signed him. That was a big plus. Very happy they got that one done. He took that hometown discount to stay. Shout out to Osa. Kavontae Turpin, Pro Bowler, kick returner. You got your player. Maybe we'll get him more involved with Shotty's new offense. We'll see. Brock Hoffman, Marquise Bell, Wande Thomas, long snapper Trent Sieg, Tyrus Wheat, CJ Goodwin, Brian Anger, Israel Mukamu, Dakota Shepley. Those are all guys that they signed. And as you go through that list, no names might stand out to you. Out of that list, I expect Dante Fowler to start. Or at least be in heavy rotation. Him and Sam Williams is coming off a torn ACL. Will compete at the other edge. Richard starts outside of Micah, depending on how they fall. Solomon Thomas very well could replace Mozzie in pass rush situations. He's not a inside he can't play inside, but he's not. And he's more of a outside technique than a one technique. He could play some three, which is probably more helpful. Him and Osis play similar positions, but there's never enough depth in D-line, especially with Mozzie, because you don't know what you're going to get out of him. You just don't know. I have a gut feeling that the run stopping this year and the D line's overall success is going to hinge on Mozzie because it didn't really give him. He's still a clear starter, opposite Osa, unless something else happens where they find some more competition behind him. They get another big body guy in there, which they haven't thus so far. So they're relying heavily on him to in his run defense. We'll see. That's all I can say. We can see. You gotta give it a shot. I mean, hopefully Mozzie took his offseason serious. He's not last year he spent, recovering from shoulder surgery. Hopefully this one he's just actually training to become a better football player. But of those names, all the Cowboys did was check boxes. You need another receiver. Check. You need some pass rush. Check. You desperately need corners. Check. You needed a running back. Check. You need offensive line depth. Check. You need D tackle. You need a playmaker D tackle. Check. And then the special teamers, check, check, check. Yes, you need a long snapper. CJ Goodwin is just on a lifetime contract at this point. I mean, he's just taking a roster spot. He's going to always make the minimum. He's just a great guy who the Cowboys love, and shout out to him. He's going to keep sticking around. Does it impact the football team that much? I mean, do you miss him when he's gone? No, but you lost a lot of leadership, and so you're going to need some of that in the locker room. So, shout out to CJ Goodwin. Should he take a roster spot over somebody who could actually help the team as far as like defense or offense? No, he should not. Not at all. But that's the coming of somebody else to beat him out. So when beats him out, he's got a spot. Of that list, like Paris Campbell, I don't know if he'll ever make the team. Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams, I think you have a Royce Freeman, Ronald Jones situation there. I don't know if either one of them makes the team. I think one of them will. One of them will. But I think your starting running back's coming from the draft. And if he doesn't start day one, he'll start by week 4 or 5. That's how I feel. They're just Peyton Turner, their former first round pick, the guy that had a high grade on coming out. He's a defensive end, never healthy, trying to get his career back on track. Journeyman so far, still young. So we'll see. It doesn't hurt to think. None of these guys, other than Dante Fowler or Solomon Thomas, they're paying actual serious money to. And the serious money they're paying to isn't that much. So they didn't overspend for anybody. So yes, I'm giving the front office credit. They didn't overspend. They identified their targets. They're not getting world beaters. They're not getting anybody that's going to blow you away. They're not getting caliber starter players. One or two. My Dante Fowler is a starter caliber, but they're just checking depth pieces so they can draft best player available to draft, which is what they desperately want to do. And if you remember from earlier podcasts, that's what I said earlier. I want them to put themselves in a position to draft the best player available. Well, that's Tate McMillan, the wide receiver out of UCLA, the DN out of Georgia, Gentry. I would be ecstatic for, but he's not going to be there. I feel like he's not going to be there. I don't think he's getting out the top 10, and you're picking 12. But you did. You got depth pieces. You got players that can help. And last year, what happened? One injury, boom, you're screwed. Now, at the receiver position, do you need to do more? I feel like you need to do much more because you're still in the same position that you were before. Paris Campbell, we'll see if he even makes the team. You got 2 receivers guaranteed to make the team. Probably 3 with Mingo because they traded a 4th round pick for him. So they're not gonna cut him like they did Trey Lance. They'll let him play his contract out, and hopefully Trey Lance can be so they won't have another Trey Lance situation. But your receiver, you have Thiede, all worldly, yes, but he's a stub toe or a rolled ankle away from being completely screwing the team. Not him, the team being screwed. Because you got Tolbert. Tolbert experience needs to end. He's not that guy. He's not going to be that guy. He's just not that good. Tolbert as a fourth receiver or a third receiver, I'd take. Not as your number two. He proved that last year. He can't step up. You got Cooks is gone. Cup was off the market. You never really in on Cup. I mean, he got $14 million. You were never going to pay him that. Let's just be honest. You got Cavante Turpin is more of a gadget special teamer. Plays all worldly speed. Can get open, not a consistent route runner. Kind of he can get deep, but it's kind of hard. He's so small; it's kind of hard getting the actual body, getting his body in position to catch the deep balls and things of that nature. Mingo is not to be harsh, but to this far, he's been pretty much a bust. He hasn't done anything, nothing to note. But you trade a fourth for. He's got all the measurables. He's big, he's strong, he runs fast, does not run good routes, does have strong hands. Hasn't translated all to the NFL yet. Reminds me a little bit of Laquan Treadwell to me. I think his career is on this trajectory. Hopefully ends up better than Laquan Treadwell, the receiver out of Ole Miss, who had everything you wanted in a receiver. It just never clicked in Minnesota or Seattle. And that's what I hope it's not going to happen to Mingo. But we'll see. I mean, Dak is a quality quarterback, and maybe they can get on the same page and rise his career. That'd be great. But he's still unproven. And they got Robert Flournoy, last year's rookie, unproven, and guys that. So I'm thinking this first round, you need to nail a receiver. Because that's the one position I'll say the corner, actually not one position, I take that back. Wide receiver, corner, and D tackle. Those are what you need to be on. You can wait on the running back. You can potentially wait on D tackle. But wide receiver and corner, you need to address. And with impact players. Because that's who's helping CD. They said it all last year. The opponent said it last year. I believe it was Darius Slay or somebody from the Eagles who said last year, take away, all you gotta do is take away CD. Excuse me. Apologize. It was the Detroit Lions. The DB said, all you have to do is cover CD and there's not have anybody else. Which was true. I mean, Jake Ferguson took a step back last year. Zeke was Zeke. I mean, he was done. He was done, so. So there's still a free agent out there I would like. Keenan Allen, not $16 million, not for 1 year, in 8 to 10 games because he's not playing every game. He's proven track record. That guy has horrible hamstrings, but he's a big body route technician. I don't know what his price tag is. The rumors out there are 16 million, as we all saw on X. If that can come down some, maybe if he could take if he was willing to take a little bit of a haircut. Now, the Cowboys are playing cheap, so are they going to come out the pocket, come out the wallet, and pay him 2 years, $20 million? Can they do 10? Can they do 10 with incentives? I would love that. I don't know if he'd like that. I don't know what his options are. But if you could get Keenan Allen and draft a receiver, that would be a dream scenario for me. Because then you could really go best player available. Because you have CD and a bona fide number 2 in Keenan. He showed last year in Chicago he still got something, and he's okay being a number 2. That would be my receiver. I don't want Brandon Cooks back. I don't want any of these more short, shifty receivers. Stephon Diggs is coming on. I would love Stephon Diggs. He's coming off a torn ACL. As you saw with his brother last year, that takes time. And you don't know if he's the same player anymore. Love Trayvon. But he was not the same player last year. He took a step back, and then he ended up getting hurt again. And you just can't do that. You don't want to do it, Stephon. So you basically sign them, and the Diggs brothers would be rehabbing together. Like Trayvon happy. I'm sure it would. I mean, who wouldn't want to play with their brother? But no, that's a no go for me. No, I would have liked Cup. I know Cup wasn't what he was, but he's better than what you got. Pretty, he is leaps the whatever Cooper Cup has left in his legs is 3 times better what Jalen Tolbert has as a receiver. That's why I was in on that. But we'll see. We'll see. Parade's still going on. You might have some surprises. You just never know. I mean, the draft isn't for another 40 days, so we got time. There's time. Activity always slows down around this part. Hopefully, prices drop. You start hearing that Keenan Allen to Dallas. Because Paris Campbell, you can't honestly, Paris Campbell, you can't sign Paris Campbell and say who had one good year. The last 2 years, he's caught a total of 6 passes, and say, hey, we got a quality depth piece. He's our bona fide number 2. We're good. We're good there. I don't think they are. No signing. That's one thing I will say about the Cowboys. No signing is preventing them from not drafting any position. Not one. Running backs, edge. You can never have enough pass rushers. D tackles, linebackers. Definitely not corner or receiver. So there's no signing that they're going to make that says, oh, well, we can't take that in the first round. We can't take that. We can't spread a top 3 pick on that position. That's not how it goes. So they have done that. But you got CD on one side, Keenan Allen on the other. You got Tate McMillan or Luther Burden in the slot. Line up with them. They can bring Mingo along and Tolbert because you got love fair for those guys. You don't have to cut them. If they show you in camp, they're worth being around. Well, Mingo's definitely not getting cut. And then you're working with something. Then that really unlocks Jay Ferguson. All of a sudden, if your offensive line can hold up, you can run with a starting caliber running back like Hampton out of UNC or Genty. Then you will be rocking and rolling. You'll be good. Dak will be Dak again. Dak needs a strong running game. Dak can't do it all alone. Dak just not that type of guy who just uplifts everybody. But that's what the free agency's for. You set yourself up. You checked all the boxes. You just checking boxes. So once again, thank you for watching. This is the Legendary Sports Podcast. This has been your host GSR. I appreciate every last one of you. Please like and subscribe. Have anything for me to improve on? Any positive feedback? Leave it in the comments. Thank you. Have a blessed day.